studios now. No.
Extra, extra, read all about it, or better yet, let us tell you. It is time for the Rider News Roundup on 107.7 The Bronx, your one-step source for the biggest headlines, campus buzz, and must-know stories straight from the pages of the Rider News. Breaking news, Rider Pride, and what's trending around campus, we've got it all wrapped up and delivered to your ears every week. So sit back, tune in, and get the scoop, because knowing what's happening at Rider has never sounded this good.
I'm Samantha Clark, sports editor of the Rider News, and this is your Rider News Roundup on 107.7 The Bronx. For the first time since 2023, the election for Rider's Student Government Association president has more than one candidate on the ballot to potentially lead the organization in the 2026-27 school year through a time of revitalization for the university. To understand the focus of their campaigns and the vision for their potential presidencies, the Rider News held separate interviews with both candidates on March 30th. The first is Junior Human Resource Management major Lizbeth Ortiz, who has been involved with SGA since her freshman year. With this early involvement, Ortiz knew she wanted to make a difference on campus since she began at Rider. Ortiz said, "As a freshman, I came to Rider and I was like, I want to be SGA president." The second is Junior Political Science major Jaden David, who has not held a position in SGA before, but brings experience from his other roles on campus. He serves as the vice president of Rider's chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated and is the director of comedy and game shows for the Student Entertainment Council. His decision to run for SGA student body president came the week before this year's spring break, saying that upon reflection with his advisors and friends, he felt that he underestimated himself when it came to pursuing bigger roles such as SGA president. David's campaign is centered on four main aspects: communication, organizations, resources, and everyday student concerns and issues, or CORE as he puts it. "I'm my biggest critic. I realize that the SGA president is a Rider student at the end of the day," David said. "Anybody in this room has what it takes to be SGA president, so why can't I?" Read more about Caroline Haviland and Cal Sutton's story at theridernews.com. An unheard countdown and attendees running prematurely to the eggs scattered at 107.7 The Bronx Excellent Egg Hunt resulted in an immense crowd of ravenous college students pushing each other, tripping, and diving for a chance at winning prizes like a Royal Caribbean cruise, a diamond pendant, and an LD 55-inch television. The campus mall was adorned with petting zoos, blow-up carnival games, mini-golf, and food trucks for the March 31st event, and in the center was a sectioned-off area filled with 10,000 plastic eggs. Around noon, attendees began to encircle the barrier, seeking their ideal vantage point. Senior exercise science major Lillianne Quinn was the big winner of the day, picking up the egg that held the coveted cruise and creating big plans of tanning and celebrating her 21st birthday in the Bahamas. Prior to the main event of the egg hunt, students and families alike stopped at a variety of booths featuring activities run by campus clubs and organizations, local businesses, and sponsors who offered their time. Read more about the annual egg hunt written by Madison Lewis on theridernews.com. The year is 2020. In a world of uncertainty, one thing was left for certain. Graduate student Tyler Klinsky was going to commit to Rider. As time rolled on, Klinsky continued to wrestle for the Bronx. Year after year, he honed his craft and perfected his maneuvers. By the end of his senior year in 2024, he was not quite done with his Rider journey. 2 more seasons passed by and Klinsky completed his Rider career, not just as a Rider wrestling veteran, but as an All-American. In his first graduate season, Klinsky decided to redshirt, which proved to be fruitful. In Klinsky's final collegiate season, he had his best one yet, finishing with a record of 30-6 overall, going undefeated in dual meets, and doing the same in Mid-Atlantic Conference play, eventually qualifying for the MAC championships. Klinsky wasted 0 time at the tournament in Buffalo, New York, as he made his way to the final round and won by major decision 11-3, securing his first ever MAC title and punching his ticket to the NCAA championships. Klinsky was also named as the tournament's most outstanding wrestler and MAC Wrestler of the Year. At the NCAA championships, Klinsky came through with a takedown over his opponent to cement his 6 years of Rider wrestling as an All-American. Check out the rest of Benjamin Chenault's feature story at theridernews.com. All of this week's content can be found on our website, and be sure to stay updated by following at The Rider News on all of your social media platforms. I'm Samantha Clark, and this has been your Rider News Roundup.
That's all the headlines for this week's Rider News Roundup. But don't worry, we've got you covered every Wednesday with a brand new report to keep you in the know. Catch up on all the stories anytime at theridernews.com and listen to every roundup on demand at 1077thebronx.com/Rider News Roundup. Because when it comes to what's happening at Rider, you'll always hear it here first. And now, let's get back to the biggest hits and the best variety only on 1077 The Bronx.
1077 The Bronx or 1077thebronx.com, winner of 3 2026 Intercollegiate Broadcasting System Media Awards, best on-air pledge drive for our first ever radiothon, best giveaway for Wake Up Riders Morning Bagel Run and Jewelry Spree, and best station poster by Jake Goebel for Stream Screen. This is the ConCast. Well, hello everybody. We are back in action for our next episode of the ConCast. So we have lots of things to talk about. And this past week, oh man, I'll tell you, so much news. So we're going to start off with a little bit of like some like general news, right? So here we go. For ice cream lovers out there, we have Dairy Queen is offering buy one, get one 99-cent blizzards. Guys, I'm telling you, I haven't had a blizzard in so long from Dairy Queen. Honestly, there's like, I think maybe 2 or 3 Dairy Queens near me. And I will say, like, you know, I haven't had one of those blizzards in a long time. But honestly, I will say though, they are pretty good, you know, and I really do think that, like, I think I have to say my favorite is probably the cookie dough blizzard. Their cookie dough, I don't know how they make it, but it's actually like really good for some reason. But I really enjoy the cookie dough. And then they do this like thing. I don't know if it's like a Dairy Queen thing. It might be, but they like actually they'll put like fudge in the middle or like caramel in the middle if you like request it, which is kind of cool. And it's actually like really good. Like it tastes like awesome. But anyway, so you want to hear something crazy? A little bit of news from NASA today. Or actually not really today, but, you know, I think this happened in the past week. My mom actually texted me about it. Shout out to Mom. NASA sent humans back to the moon for the first time in 53 years. Wow. Like, man, I remember seeing that video. I think I've seen that video multiple times of, like, when NASA sent the first people up to the moon. That video was pretty great. And now, like, maybe they'll take another one as, like, an anniversary thing. But for the first time in 53 years where we've sent people back up to the moon, that is crazy. Honestly, I think that's honestly, like, you know, that must be fun. I wonder what it's like being in like a spaceship and going all the way up to space. And like, I really wonder what that's like. It must be fun, honestly. Like, imagine like looking out the window, you're just like leaving Earth. That is such like an out of world experience. And then you gotta, oh, excuse me, had a voice crack. And then you got to get used to like all of the like the gravitational stuff, like the way gravity changes, and like that's honestly, I think that's pretty cool too. I'd probably throw up though, but I remember there was like a video of this guy. I don't know if he was doing like a live stream or something, but he was in space, and it was like, it looks like a really old, like, I guess you could say like Q&A video or live stream or whatever. And he was answering questions to young people that like asked like, hey, how do you like go to the bathroom in space? How do you brush your teeth in space? You know, stuff like that. And like the methods that they have to do that are really interesting. And like, I really thought that was like, honestly, like pretty cool, honestly. But here in some, you know, job news, bosses are firing Gen Z grads shortly after hiring them, saying many lack motivation and professionalism. Now, that I wouldn't say that's a valid reason of firing somebody. I feel as though like you can't really HR especially. I've actually been learning this through my team group and communication class. Shout out to Miss Winecheck. I believe she's the head of the Department of Communications. Great teacher, great professor. I've been learning so much from her class. It's actually crazy. She is a great professor, D1 professor by far. But what we learned in that class was that like HR, like if you're firing somebody, you can't fire them based off their like personality. Like now here's the only thing: if they like, you know, curse at your face or something and are yelling and all that stuff in the workplace, then like it's valid to fire them, right? Because like it's like, what are you doing? But you can't fire someone just based off, oh, if they're, you know, dry in conversation, they don't talk much, they keep to themselves, they're very quiet. Like you can't really fire somebody based off that. But I will say, like, if they do say like they're not doing the job too well, like you could fire them based off that. Like they're always late on something, or they're not taking their time when doing the work, so they're just, you know, like not doing anything correctly, and things aren't getting, like presentations, for example, for a business presentation, they're not getting done on time, and so that could be like an issue too. But someone like, you know, just if they're a dry person and they're very like calm and low and they're not talking much, that you shouldn't get fired over that. That's a little crazy. But no, I saw that and I was like, you know, like I could see that, because I mean nowadays you like to live comfortably in today's world, you need like 2 jobs and maybe like a side hustle, which I personally think that's like a little ridiculous. I really think that there's some taxes like income tax I don't think should be a thing, because that's like your money at the end of the day, that like you worked for that money, and like the government could just take that away, like a little bit of it away in like literally off of a paycheck. I find that kind of ridiculous. Like, yes, if you want to know, like the IRS, for example, if they want to know like what your job is, then I can see that. It's like, you know, if they like mail you and you say, and there's like a little filling out bar where it's like, what's your occupation, how much you get paid, stuff like that, and they just need to know for like when like you file your taxes, something like that, then like I could see that. But having an income tax is so unnecessary. I feel like our country is so like we are a very rich country, and I feel as though that we take out way too much tax though for the people who like live in the country. Income tax, I don't think that should be abolished. I don't think that should be a thing, because if you're working for that money and you're working like 8-hour shifts, like 40 hours a week, full time, that's your money. You should be keeping that money. You shouldn't be paying a tax for anything. Property tax should be done away with as well. I think the property tax makes no sense, and I think actually in Florida they're trying to do away with that as well. I know we kind of went off topic here, but I'd say like getting residency down there, it might be like a good choice. Honestly, if they're able to actually get rid of property tax, that's going to probably influence a lot of citizens from other states to move down there. And I'm sure those other states, if they're losing money because people are moving out of state, they will probably change that law and get rid of property tax completely. But I think that's so unnecessary. I feel like if you buy land and if you buy a house on that land, especially if you own the acres, that should be your house, your land. You shouldn't be paying a tax unless it's to yourself. Like, because you technically own it. Like, I think that's kind of like ridiculous that they take money off that. Like, I understand like there's some things like tax wise where it's like you need to fund certain programs like healthcare, of course, right? But I feel like at this rate, the fact that we're not able to live comfortably without having more than one job is a little crazy. I think that's like good for you. If you really chase it and you want those 2-3 jobs, go right ahead. You know, that's the beauty of having freedom in this country. But I really think that you're required to have 2 to 3 jobs to live comfortably. That's a little crazy. I think that shouldn't be how it is, because everyone's stressing and everything. But going back to like Gen Z's like laziness, I think a lot of people think Gen Z is lazy because, like, you know, we have phones, like we have advanced technology, we have our phones, you know, and I know like a few people, or I've known a few people in my life that are very like laid back. They're like, you know what, everything will just come to me. Everything will just be figured out on its own. That's not the mindset. Like, anything could happen, right? Like, unless you get really lucky and like everything just comes to you, which 99.99% of the time doesn't happen, unless it's like say you have a family business or something and it's passed down generation by generation. But then again, even if that's the case and the person passes the business down to you and then you fail that business, you know, anything, as I said, anything can happen. But I think the real reason why, like, it's more so the laziness, I don't really think it's our generation's fault necessarily. I think it's more so a lot of people aren't retiring, and they're retiring they're literally working themselves to death. They're not retiring like 70 years old. When you hit 70, you should be retiring. You should not be still working, especially at an entry level job. And I have paid attention to that. like cashier, I don't know, like the guy who cuts your deli meats at ShopRite, for example, or you go to Walmart bakery, like, and you have, especially at ShopRite, I've seen the ones that I've gone to that are close to my house. Like, there are so many old people working at the register. Why is that? Like why? Why aren't they retiring? They can't even hold themselves up, and half the time they leave early because they just can't handle the workload. Which I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but at the same time it kind of is, because they're not getting paid enough to retire because they're leaving early because they have to, as to not break down their body into nothing. And I think that's what's destroying the job market too. There's other factors, of course, but I really think that is majority, because it's like, why is a person who's almost 80 years old working a job, an entry-level job that's meant for someone who's like a teen, like 15, 16? Like, to me, I kind of find that crazy. And like, hopefully, like, one day when I have a family, like, for sure, depending on how I don't know, I can't predict the future, right? But if I do have a kid one day, I'm going to tell him, listen, man, you got to, like, or if it's a daughter, hey, like, listen, like, you got to go and like work. You have to work, like, get a job here, like, even give them like allowance for working. I think that's what I'm probably going to do, because like, it's hard to survive out there. Really, it really is. And I think that's like got to be probably like the worst part about it. And I really hope, like, I really am like trying to, get my money up before I leave college, especially because I don't want to be like living in like my parents' house till I'm like 32. I know, like, in other countries though, I think in European countries, pretty sure the kid doesn't have to move out until like they're married, which is like crazy, because you think about it, like, if that kid never gets married, they're never moving out unless they choose to. I actually find that crazy. Like, it's actually the cultural like difference in the way society works in other countries compared to like ours in America is like insane. The difference is immense, and it's actually like abundant, like, because just the way things are, it's just so different. But yeah, no, so that was my little like rant on finding jobs and stuff like that. Well, so I think it is great news in some ways. Former Monmouth Mall is going through immense transformation. There's a Chili's in that mall area, and I have visited that Chili's a lot. So let me tell you guys, let me see, where is this thing here about Monmouth Mall? Here we go. So it was like a video of like a drone, or like the drone is like a drone POV hovering over Monmouth Mall. So here's like what the caption said. Here's a drone view of the rebirth happening at the former Monmouth Mall in Eatontown. Construction is well underway at the mall site as it's being reimagined as Monmouth Square. With a more than $500 million open-air town center, the plan calls for 990,000 square feet of retail and restaurants, 1,000 resident units, medical office space, a central public green for concerts and farmers markets, all connected by a network of pedestrian paths. So that's actually really cool that they're making it like almost like comparing it to like Times Square. They're almost like making it like Times Square, where you have the residency, you have like a medical place, and then you have a green like a grass, a patch of grass where concerts like go and everything. I think that's actually really cool. So the no longer closest place is going to be PNC. It's going to be the Monmouth Mall, which is actually really cool. They're going to make so much. They're going to like make so much money back off of that too, depending on how much they charge. Because malls, like, when it comes to certain things, they do charge more than like regular like stuff and everything. So like, imagine how much money they're going to make just off that mall itself. Like, that's going to actually be like insane. But I'm definitely going to go once it opens. They've gutted out so much. They gutted out, I forgot what was there. It was Barnes and Noble was there. They gutted that out. That's gone. I think there was like a few other places. Boscov's is still right at the end. They left Boscov's, but they chopped off everything else, which is actually crazy. But I'm really excited. I really want to like go to that mall. Probably not on the day it opens. It's probably going to be super crowded. But maybe like another time when I'm like down there, like probably later in the months where it's not going to be so crowded. Cause like I'm not trying to get trampled in a mall. That's the worst way to go out. Yeah, no. And you know, we got 2 minutes before underwriting. I actually wanted to talk about the egg hunt a little bit. I was working it for the first time, my first egg hunt, working it for like the first time ever. It was really fun. It was really hot out. We got there nice and early, got prepped up, you know, made sure everything was going well, made sure everything was working. So that was like really fun. And, working with my coworkers was even better. I really enjoyed like hanging out with my friends. I got to see everybody. And, you know, it was really awesome. Like I really enjoyed it. We have a great community here. You know, a lot of people showed up for it. Lots of prizes were won, of course. You know, we had the cruise hosted by Josh Harry Travel. That was pretty awesome too. And like literally like from my end, I was near the photo booth and I just saw during the egg hunt when it actually started and everyone was in like the square thing. I just saw like a shift of people go forward and that was it. Like I didn't see any more movement and it was great though. But, I thought that was like a really fun event and I'm 100% like down to work for it again because that was a great time. But for right now, we're going to go into some underwriting announcements. After the most successful Excellent Egg Hunt in 1077 The Bronx history, we want to give a second Rider Bronc the opportunity to win a cruise to the Bahamas. And all you have to do to win it is make a sandwich. It's really that simple. So what are you waiting for? Get in the kitchen, get creative, and enter 1077 The Bronx Build the Ultimate Bronkwich Contest. Develop Ryder's new signature sandwich in your kitchen and reap the rewards. A Royal Caribbean cruise for 2 to the Bahamas from Josh Harry Travel. Go to 1077thebronx.com/buildabronkwich right now to enter your sandwich creation. Hurry. The deadline to enter is this Sunday, April 5th. We'll be back with more of the ConCast after these underwriting announcements on your 3-time 2026 Intercollegiate Broadcasting Systems Media Award winner, 1077 The Bronx.
Oh, it's so hot. I'm so hungry.
Okay, 1077 The Bronx has very exciting news. Our new video stream is officially live. Now you can listen to The Bronx on air, online, and on app. Now watch your favorite student shows live on the Bronx YouTube channel and Facebook at 1077 The Bronx, including What's Next Sports, Talk of the Town Sports, Bronx After Hours, the ConCast, Cliff Notes, and Wake Up Rider. Keep it tuned in to the Bronx to listen to and watch your favorite student shows. Welcome back to the ConCast on your 5-time National Association of Broadcasters Marconi Radio Award nominated station 1077 The Bronx. Well, everybody, we are back once again after our little short break. So let me tell you guys something. Really a good thing for mainly like students of schools. So exams are to be fully removed from the U.S. education system across all states. And the explanation for it is in my camera roll. Just give me 1 second. Here we go. The U.S. education system is undergoing a major transformation as exams are being fully removed across all states, signaling a shift toward a more modern and equitable approach to learning. Schools are moving away from traditional high-stakes testing, which has long emphasized memorization and performance under pressure, and instead adopting continuous assessment methods such as projects, portfolios, presentations, and teacher evaluations. So I will say that I kind of believe personally that, like, yes, this is a good thing in a way. I think the memorization part, I think the testing for memorization is a good thing, right? But like, when is really the next time you're going to actually like take a test aside from driving school? Maybe something in the trade. You got to take a test for that. Like, and basically like anything else. Cause like, you know, say your major, it depends on what your major is, right? Like nursing school is definitely like, you need to remember everything, you know, that's a primary memorization, like school by far. Right. But like, you know, when you're doing like a business portfolio, yes, you need to memorize the slides, but like you might change up a few words like that. That's kind of what happens to me. Like, my public speaking class, like, I had to like do that a lot, like where I'd be like, okay, like I'll memorize this, but I'm probably going to change up the words a bit. And I would end up changing the words like right off the dome. And, I really think though that it's actually like a pretty, like not, I mean, it has its pros and cons. I'll say that's where I'll leave it at that. Right. It has its pros and cons. Well, here we go, guys. Science news. We got some science incoming. Scientists have created a chewing gum from plants that kills viruses in your mouth, such as COVID, herpes, and influenza. So that's actually really cool. That they're finding these cures like through the, well, of course it's plants, you know, the herbs, they always got something going on, especially when it comes to the medical field, for sure. I find that actually really cool. And if they're going to introduce this could heal a lot of people who have these problems. And I'm sure there's a lot more that this chewing gum can do. But hopefully the side effects aren't like, you know, really like terrible, you know, hopefully it doesn't like, you know, make you like, I don't know, constipated or headaches, you know, stuff like that. Cause that would stink. That's no fun. Right. But yeah, no. So speaking of businesses, as I was mentioning before, so I got 12 businesses AI can't touch. So we have childcare. Parents want humans, not software, taking care of their kids. I can agree with this one because if an AI is taking care of your kid, that's a problem. We already have iPads for that. Evidently, as most parents prefer an iPad to raise their kid. I will probably never buy my kid an iPad or an iPhone until they're probably like 13 or 14, because they need to like be conscious and realize that there's more to life than that. You know, I mean, that personally is how I was raised, and I think I turned out pretty well. So I think that, like, you know, I may follow that method of waiting till get them like maybe like a DS, or if those are ever going to be around again, Nintendo Switch maybe, but not an iPad. No way. We're not touching the iPads. Absolutely not, because it's so sad. Like, I used to be a busser at this one restaurant, And like and it was like it was a breakfast and lunch place, like a brunch place basically. And I would literally see like these little kids just sitting on their iPads, like while like eating with their grandpa and grandma after church. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like sad. Like, this is sad. This kid's watching like Coco Melon while while the grandparents are just sitting there like waiting for him to say something or them to say something. Like, it was just like really sad. All right, we got pest control on-site inspection. All right, so yeah, AI can't take pest control because we need like human on-site inspection and physical treatment. Like, maybe one day we'll have a robot that'll like do that stuff, and maybe like some of the whatever part of whatever is needed for pest control, there could be like a robot that has like some intelligence where it can detect like infestations and like just gas whatever it is out. And then we have, let's see, cleaning services for physical labor inside real spaces. Yes, because like, what if like whatever the technology is can't get into those spaces? We need an actual person to do it and know how to do the job. Because like a human, yes, we're human. We all malfunction, I guess, right? We're all wrong at some point. But at the same time, it's like still we need someone that'll like actually do it right at like 90% of the time. Let's see what else. Home health. So I guess like if you're just at home and like say you got a condition or like maybe you're dying, home health, hands-on care and real-time judgment. So basically just like making sure the person's there. You know, a robot, I don't think a robot can really recognize that unless they just keep saying your name over and over and just like assume that you could be waking up at any point. I agree with that. Like, we do need humans with that. Senior care for trust, compassion, and physical presence. Yes, I don't think a elderly person would want, I think they'd want their family members and not some robot talking to them the entire time. Like, that's what like FaceTime's for. If their family is like across the country and the elderly person is in the hospital and like their kid and their grandkids want to call them, that's what like FaceTime's for. You know what I mean? Or just being on the phone. We don't really need AI for that. Collision shops, manual bodywork and finishing touches requiring human precision. Yes, that is very important, because the next thing you know, the AI malfunctions and then all of a sudden the car falls apart on the road. And I think the human would be mad in that situation, and also and could possibly die. So yeah, I think that would be good for more like human precision. Auto repair yeah, like AI could help for auto repair. Like, AI could help with diagnostics, right? And the condition of something, but someone still needs to turn the wrench, right? You know, we can make an AI do that, I guess, but I mean, I'd rather have a human do it because they know what they're doing. So yeah, I'd rather a human turning the wrench. Landscaping. So landscaping for physical labor and changing outdoor environments. So honestly, like, you know, we do technically have mechanical stuff that do change environments, you know, construction work, for example, like using, I forgot what those vehicles are called. They have the big scoop thing and they scoop like dirt or whatever. It's like that could, I guess, change an environment by digging like a hole in the ground. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I forgot. I don't know why. Is it a claw? I don't remember what it's called. Yeah, no, like I could see like landscaping, definitely changing outdoor scenery. We need people for that, like humans for that. Let's see. Roof climbing for like, you know, doing stuff like fixing a roof or something, measuring, installing in weather conditions. So yeah, basically like we need proper measurements that are like accurately correct, and excuse me. And also we need like a human, because the robots can't withstand like, I don't know, say it's raining, thundering, it can get like electrocuted and die out and explode or something like crazy like that, right? So we want a human up on that roof. HVAC for mechanical troubleshooting requires on-site skill. Yeah, so like we can't have a robot doing that. We need like a human making sure everything's running right, especially for like troubleshooting something if something goes wrong, you know. Electrical safety. It needs like, especially it's electrical, you can get electrocuted, you know, something could go on fire, you know, whatever. it's definitely a safety risk if you have a robot doing that. So it's better to have like hands-on precision. Like that matters a lot. Like you got to make sure everything's working, everything's going right, you know, and not a robot doing that. One like misstep, one misalignment, and that entire pole is either the power goes out or the pole just falls or lights on fire. So yeah, we need a human for that. Plumbing, every home has different problems and they're unpredictable. So you need someone physically there. So you never know. If the robot's like doing something, all of a sudden the pipe like breaks and the water just starts spouting out. You need a human to fix that because the robot's probably not going to detect that unless it's designed to, you know, you never know. But, so here's something crazy. Actually, speaking of like, you know, business side of things, there was a Kit Kat heist, the candy bar. There was a heist for that. I have like the details here. Let me see. Here we go. So they made an official statement on Twitter. So regarding recent press coverage, official statement from the Kit Kat company, we can confirm that 12 tons of Kit Kat products were stolen while in transit between our factory in central Italy and their destination in Poland. We are working closely with local authorities and supply chain partners to investigate. The good news, there are no concerns for consumer safety and supply is not affected. Thank you. So at least their supply is not affected. You know, that's good. But why are you stealing that many Kit Kats? Like, what's the benefit? You're literally committing a crazy crime like that for you're stealing 12 tons for what? I mean, food consumption maybe? I don't know, unless you sell them to people. I don't know. Like maybe you go on like eBay or Amazon because you could buy like food on Amazon. You know, they could resell it that way. Maybe that's like their plan. I have no clue. But that's a pretty, I don't know. I think if I was to do a heist, right, I would probably steal something more valuable, like, you know, jewelry, I don't know, cash, gold, you know, like Kit Kat bars, bro. Like, what? Here's, we have another like science thing here. Oh man, we got a lot of science stuff today. Drinking too much matcha can turn, oh no. I know a lot of people who drink matcha. So drinking too much matcha can turn your skin yellow and damage your liver. Doctors reveal more side effects of the popular drink. So yeah, apparently there was a thing where this woman drank like 5 cups a day. So it's not like if you drink 1 cup, you're not gonna like die, right? Or like anything severe. But if you drink like 5 cups a day, like, you know, throughout the day, this woman reported that her skin was like turning yellow, which I don't know how that works. Like the pigmentation of her skin was turning yellow. That's pretty gross. That's really unfortunate too, you know, to be in that circumstance. But you know, guys, just like, you know, don't drink 5 cups a day of matcha. If you really want to drink something, drink coffee or just regular tea. You know, matcha might taste better. I never tried it in my life, but say it does taste better, you know, just resort to the tea, man. Resort to the tea. Go get some hot tea. You know, you get like, lemon tea is really good, very flavorful, so it's a little, you know, it has a little kick to it, but I love lemon tea. It's so good. Here's something actually pretty funny. Nursing home staff were arrested for running a fight club involving elderly dementia residents. Okay, so that's not really funny, but like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine like you're just like entering a nursing home and then all of a sudden you like go in the hallway and there's a fight club and it's just a bunch of old people with dementia just like fighting each other. That would be that's like actually insane. Like I would honestly be scared of that. And then they start like running after you. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, no, that is crazy. I'd be like, whoa, what is going on here? But guys, for the people who go out and drink, for the people who turn 21 today, little tip for you guys here. Study shows a banana milkshake with honey is one of the best hangover cures. I've never tried that in my life, and I really don't want to try that ever. That sounds really gross. I don't really like honey personally, unless it's like mixed with something. Like say there's like, you go to like PF Chang's and you get like honey, I think it's like honey chipotle chicken. That's really good. But if you just like straight honey by itself, that's some like Winnie, like you're on like Winnie the Pooh level. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to have all that. That's, you know, that probably tastes really bad. But hey, you know, you guys really want to try it? Go ahead. Be my guest. I'm not, though. Study says 61% of men age 18 to 24 would rather spend a night gaming with friends than going to the bars. This I can see. I can see this being the case because you go to a bar and a drink is like $15, depending on what you get. Like a beer, one beer could be like $10 or $5. That's insane. And for a bottle too. So like, think of it this way, like, yeah, it might be filled to the top, but that's not even that much like consumption, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, but I am just saying though, I think alcohol, yes, I know alcohol is expensive, but like it is a little overpriced for what you get from it and like what the effects too. Like, I feel like that's, in my opinion, I really think sometimes it can be a waste of money to go to a bar. Why not just buy like a 12 pack case of like Coors Light and you're chilling and you have that to last you like a month, maybe more, depending on how much you drink it. Like if you drink it like every Friday, it's probably gonna last you like a month, right? But you know, I could definitely see this. I mean, gaming is free, hanging out with your friends is free, and you could even you have the ability to drink while you play. So like you play like Mario Kart, which is basically like you drink while playing Mario Kart, and so it's like drunk driving but in Mario Kart. I'm trying to think of other ones. There's actually a lot of fun games though, I will say, that involve like alcohol. Beer pong is always a classic. That's a classic one. So in sports news, I actually only got one thing from a sports news today. And it's not really having to do with much of America, but well, actually it kind of does. NFL targets Italy and global expansion. So the NFL wants to get Italy into an expansion for the NFL, which is really cool because I think in some of the international sports, like the baseball teams and stuff like that, Italy has been dominating the scene. But unfortunately, they did lose. I believe it was for the World Cup. They tied in a match, and I think the favor went to, I forgot what country they were versing, but it went in their favor and not Italy's. So sadly, like, you know, it was a loss for Italy, but you know, hey man, we got far, and even in baseball, we're just dominating the scene. We are cooking every other country. So honestly, like, yes, we may have taken a loss in soccer, but we have so many other sports that we are just cooking in. We are baking in. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So here's a little like work news. Scientists say that stress from work can rapidly drop after the first beer. Honestly, I bet you that's true. I bet that's true. I bet it is. I think a lot of people drink occasionally just for like the calmness of it, just to relax. You know, they don't want to go nuts, but you know, they just want to like relax for a minute and unwind. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's actually a pretty interesting like fact, I guess. Speaking of alcohol, Gatorade may launch a line of spiked beverages that is gonna probably taste absolutely disgusting. You know, it's their business, right? So go right ahead, right? But yeah, no, I would never. I think if I was the CEO of Gatorade, I would say, nope, we're not doing that. That's probably gonna taste like I don't even know, just anything bad, anything you can think of that's just like nasty. Sewage, for example, nasty, right? But hey, who knows? Maybe it'll be good depending on what they put in it, right? Maybe it'll taste like Surfside, for example, or High Noons, right? So, oh, here we go. Speaking of honey, nasty. Honey is the only food that will not rot and can remain over 3,000 years. Wow, imagine having a 3,000-year-old honey jar and like consuming that. That's got to be like disgusting. But you know, honey lovers out there, we are gonna go into some underwriting. So, yeah. It's not every day we get to be a hero. So we're giving you 2 days to be a hero to 3 people all at one time. All at one time. Announcing 1077 The Bronx annual Spring for Life blood drive, Wednesday and Thursday, April 8th and 9th in the BLC Kabbalah Room. Everyone who attempts to donate blood will get a pair of tickets to a Trenton Thunder game or passes to Sky Zone in Hamilton. At the end of the drive, 2 lucky Bronx will each score a $100 Visa gift card for being our hero. To schedule your appointment to donate blood, go to our website at 1077thebronx.com/spring for life. We'll be back with more The ConCast after these underwriting announcements. While you're waiting for the return of my show, follow The Bronx on Instagram at 1077 The Bronx and on TikTok at 1077 The Bronx WRRC.
Okay, it looks like we've landed on what the Earthlings call a college campus.
The mothership.
If you build it, our Rider Bronx will devour it, introducing the contest that will cement your legacy at Rider University forever. Announcing 1077 The Bronx first ever Build the Ultimate Bronkwich contest. Be the Bronc who creates Rider's new signature sandwich to be served at Moore's Pub and on the Yo Cuz Yellow Food trailer, and we'll send you and a guest on a Royal Caribbean cruise for 2 to the Bahamas, courtesy of Josh Harry Travel. However you slice it, this contest eats Bronx. You have from now until this Sunday, April 5th, to enter. Go to 1077thebronc.com/buildabronkwich for all of the deets. Welcome back to the ConCast on the Princeton Review's number 18 ranked best college radio station, 1077 The Bronc. Hey, everybody. It is the final segment. So we are going to fit in maybe a little music news, maybe a little some game news too, because we've been talking about some general news for the past like 40 minutes. So anyway, let's get started. So Epic Games made a huge cut to staff, and they cut out a few game modes, Ballistic and Fortnite Festival. Those 2 game modes were officially removed from the game, and I think both of those modes were great XP farms, but they had to take them out due to budget cuts. And I think the problem with this is like, actually, it's not really necessarily a problem, but I think in their mind it was like, we have Disney on our side, we have all these like collab companies that will keep the game alive. And like in some way they are kind of right, because don't get me wrong, like some of their stuff was definitely like more, it's definitely more like collab based, and like it did keep the game alive, but it's starting to die out. I mean, this game's been out for almost like 8 years, I think, right? Because it came out in 2018. So yeah, it's been out for 8 years. And I think that really, it's time to pass the torch, you know what I mean, at some point. But they had to cut all this staff and everything. It's gonna be really hard for them to find a job at a different place. But if they have Epic Games on their resume and they've been working for as long as they have, then they might find a good job somewhere else with the same job title. Who knows? But Xbox Showcase 2026, Gears of War E-Day, a new Gears of War game is coming out. Gears of War, I will say, fell off after Gears of War 3. I didn't like how Gears of War 4 had the weird like controls. I thought that was weird. I feel like Gears of War 3 was much more simple, but I could see the vision of like trying to change the way like the change the way everything works and change how everything goes. But yeah, no, so maybe it'll be a good game though. Like, who knows? I like the simplicity though, Gears of War 3 and how that game went. That game was really fun. I used to play that game all the time when I was a kid. It was awesome. So Marvel Rivals, I haven't heard about this game in a minute. I will say I've never played it before. My brothers have, shout out to them. And I think, I don't know, I wasn't really into it. To me, it just seemed like another game like Overwatch, except it was Marvel. And the battle pass, I don't really play games with battle passes anymore. I feel like it's just like rinse and repeat. The only game I did play though was Battlefield, and Battlefield is fun. It is fun. I really enjoy it. There are a few people who play, Call of Duty that transferred there, so they kind of aren't the best at the game, obviously. So they're just a free score, but it's all right. So GTA 5, I logged on yesterday in the online, and the snow was back. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, this has got to be a glitch, right? This has got to be a glitch. There's no way they actually added this back, because they did 1 week for the snow for Christmas, and it used to be 2 weeks, but too many people complained about it. New gens, I should say, new people who just started playing the game complained about it being, oh, the driving's too hard. It's like, it's the last year for it. Just deal with it. But some people just can't. So they did 1 week for it. They brought it back for like 2 days, I think. And I was like, wow. They did it for April Fools. So that was like interesting how what they did there. But I guess it was just to give like a little like, hey, this was here at one point. It's not going to come back because we have GTA 6 coming out in November. So, it's like a last little goodbye type thing to the snow. Probably will never, ever see that again. So Borderlands 4, there was DLC backlash. I actually saw that on my Microsoft store thing today, earlier this morning when I was on, and like it was the DLC itself, but apparently it's like $30 and takes 2 hours to complete. personally, if a game takes 2 hours to complete, it's not worth 30. It should be worth at least maximum $15 for a DLC. I don't think a DLC should be $30 ever. I think a DLC should be 15, maybe $10, because it's not even the game itself. It is just a part of the game. And apparently it didn't come with, because I guess there was like a Borderlands bundle for the new Borderlands game. It didn't come. The DLC itself didn't come with the bundle. So people pay like $100-something, and they don't even have the DLC. So now they gotta pay an extra $30 on top of that. And that's just like, what the heck? Like, like, come on, right? So Resident Evil, speaking of newer games such as Borderlands, Resident Evil Requiem and Crimson Desert are the highest rated games of 2026. I'd have to put an agreement there. I watched some gameplay of both, and I'd say like Crimson Desert reminds me a lot of Elden Ring. And I thought, you know, that game is actually like pretty cool. I really like the scenery. I like the, you know, we don't really have many games like that anymore, you know, like that are story based in like a mythological sense. Like games like Elden Ring. Like I haven't seen a game like that since Elden Ring came out. Or even before Elden Ring too. When that game came out, that was a great game. I loved Elden Ring. 100% would do a replay, because you could play the game however you want. You could start with nothing, or you can like cheat it and search up a video, say like, hey, where can I go to get the best weapon here, the best, you know, what is it, like traits or whatever, like not charisma. I'm talking that's me thinking of like the Fallout games, you know, but like good traits to have, good skills especially, and I think, you know, that game really, they did such a good job with it. Absolutely. The DLCs weren't cheap, but you know, a business is a business, right? But sadly, guys, we are gonna have to end the show here and go into some announcements. Thank you for listening to the ConCast. We'll be back next week on Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. Stay tuned for more of the biggest hits and best variety on the Princeton Review's number 18 best college radio station, 3-time 2026 IBS Media Award winner, and 5-time NAB Marconi Radio Award nominee for College Radio Station of the Year, 107.7 The Bronx.
107.7 The Bronx, WRRC-FM, Lawrenceville, New Jersey, implores you to run to your kitchen and grab your panini press. While you're busy listening to the biggest hits and best variety, you could be chefing it up. Could very well be bringing Mom's specialty sandwich to Bowler's Pub and Yoka's. Maybe even want to try something new, which might just land you as the creator